Garrett and Chris go 10 and 11, Jameson 12 for that matter, and you know what you got coming through the pipeline as well.
What does it mean?
Yeah, I mean, what does it say about the program? What does it say? I mean,
It means they put in a lot of hard work, and the teams recognized, how we always felt, and I think that. I mean, that's always a goal, right? I mean, I think that it's guys come to Ohio State or go to colleges wanting to accomplish that goal, and we had some guys here that did that.
it's not like this is the first group. It's great. You played here, the great receivers all the way through. We're not. Is Ohio State wide receiver year? I mean, people are making that case. Would you make that case?
I think that tag is weird, and I don't know why people always talk about it like that. Like, you guys can talk about that, but that's not something we talk about.
Brian, did you kind of always know that you would be an excellent recruiter just from your days playing and how you played, and then your personality? Even when I covered you back in the day, you were always an interesting guy to interview. Did you kind of always know that you'd be an excellent recruiter?
What is an excellent recruiter?
Somebody who lands a lot of great wide receivers.
I think that it's more important to be able to identify talent than it is to communicate the information of why we're different than others. I think that recruiting, has a bad connotation to it. Like, I don't do anything different than just explain why Ohio State's a great university and how Ohio State can help maximize and reach their goals. Clarity of message is probably pretty important, but I think we pride ourselves more on not necessarily finding the best guys, but finding the right guys.
That ability to identify talent. I think you guys found Jackson before the world found out about him. They found Chris before the world found out about him. When those guys, I don't want to say late bloomerish, but early on in the process, when you're identifying talent, are there traits that you see when you're watching guys on film, when you get guys here for day camps in the summer that you like, even if the rest of it isn't necessarily developed yet?
I'd say it's not a perfect science. There's probably some gut. I mean, Mark Pantoni's staff do a phenomenal job of watching a lot of film and having honest evals and not necessarily listening to third parties outside the building. But I would say that again, the type of kid is really, really important. I think that we spend a lot of time on that. As you can tell, I can't really hit on one certain thing. I think it's kind of an imperfect science.
What's the most important trait for a high school kid to have for you, for what you guys want to do on this offense? Obviously, catch the ball, but is there anything extra?
No, I wouldn't say there's any most important trait. I think if you look around the building, you see a lot of guys that do a lot of different things in a lot of different ways. So you'd have to tell me what the most important trait is. I mean, I think that the personality and the mental makeup of an athlete, and that's really, really, really important, and probably the most important.
Generally speaking, how is recruiting going in 2023 for you guys, wide receiver? I know you can't be specific, but generally speaking, how is recruiting going for you?
It's great. I mean, nothing's changed. I think we've done a good job identifying the right kind of young men that would be a great addition to our team, and I think they have mutual interest.
Brian, you have a new title, I think, a promotion. Does your job change from an input standpoint, or did you always have?
I don't think it changes a whole lot. I mean, Coach Day could probably, hit on that better than I can, but I don't think a whole lot's changed.
I think the release said you'll have a bigger hand in game planning.
Coach Day's had a good. Coach Day has always empowered, those around us all. So, I don't know. I guess I would just lean on whatever Coach Day says would probably be the case.
What does the NFL draft mean to the staff of the school in recruiting capital?
Well, I mean, again, I think it's always a part of the conversation, and I'm definitely not one to shy away from that conversation. I mean, these guys have a small window to try to accomplish a goal that not many guys can accomplish. I mean, if you go through every year, and it's always fun. I kind of did it with the 2018 class and 2019 class, and and obviously I focus on receivers, but there's the first 5 to 10 to 15, 20 receivers. All those guys probably thought going into college, like, oh, hey, I'm going to be a first-round pick. 2 or 3 of those guys actually were. So, a lot of people can talk about it and say what we can do with a player like you. Actually, we just do it. So if you want to, if that's something you're looking for, you can be the next man up. But if you want to, go be the first one somewhere, I mean, that's okay too. But I think we just really pride ourselves on, we know the path, we know the recipe, we know what it takes, and if we tell you can be one of those guys, you can be one of those guys.
So you may be more proud of developing than picking them.
No, what do you mean?
Once they get here, and we're going to make it whatever you lack, we'll give you.
No, it's just a proven course. I mean, it's
got
not like, we don't know what it takes. Like, it's a common goal, and it's a common path that many guys have taken with us.
What are your expectations? Go ahead.
He feels like this receiver room is an NFL receiver. What do you think that means downstairs? What does that mean to you guys?
Yeah, I think that's awesome, because that was always my goal. I think that we definitely have more family in our room than an NFL receiving room, but that's the harsh reality of sports is being able to be in a spot where peer pressure and competitiveness really maximizes the individual. If I have a couple guys in my room that really can't get challenged from a peer's perspective, and I tell them to do something, and again, they're all great dudes, but there's just something different in your mind when there's really no threat of not playing. Well, what's he gonna do? Play this guy? Like, that's still there. It's just part of human nature. But when you have a bunch of guys that really can hold you accountable, not just the coach, I think it really maximizes the athlete's genetic potential.
Brian, what's your expectations and just general thoughts on Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Egbuka for this season?
My general thoughts on Marvin and Emeka?
Yeah, and expectations.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're great players. They're great cerebral players. I think that they're everything you want in a young man to be in your room. I think that we really have a really great 4, 5, 6 guys in that room, and those are 2 of the guys that are a part of that group. But you really can't ask for any better individuals, and they've just continued to get better and better week to week and year to year.
Who are some other guys? Last one for me. Who are some other guys that you're counting on this year? You mentioned you have 4, 5, 6 guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the list is pretty extensive. I mean, I think that Julian Fleming's doing a great job. I think Emeka's doing a great job. I think Marvin's doing a great job. I think James Bowder's doing a great job. Cam had a good spring. Got dinged up towards the end. Xavier Johnson's done a great job. I mean, Sam Woodless has done a great job. There's an extended list of guys that I feel very comfortable being on the field, and obviously we'll have off-season training and we'll have fall camp and whatnot, but we got a great solid group of guys. And I know we lost 2 great ones, but I think that we have a lot of guys in our room that can fill that void plus some.
Thank you.
Is there a guy in your room who definitely made strides this spring, who caught your eye, maybe, I don't know if people are paying attention to it now, I'm not trying to get you to forecast the greatness one way or the other, but you were really pleased.
I was really impressed with Xavier Johnson. He did a really good job. Like, he really has embodied all the roles he's done and the hats he's worn, and I just really think he did a great job in every opportunity he got.
Touched on Julian Fleming, one of the guys did well this spring. What did you like from him in practice? What overall did you think he did well?
I think it's just natural progression. I think he did a great job. Just a big, strong, fast athlete is just really evolving into a receiver, and he's just done a great job with that. I think that there's always things we're going to keep enhancing, and he knows where we need to enhance and get better. But I think he's taking all the necessary steps, and I'm really pleased with where he's at.
It sounded like Ryan mentioned as far as the spring game that you guys didn't want to plan that to be pretty smart. Was he able to do? It seems like
Yeah, he just got a quad contusion in the beginning of that week, so it wasn't smart to expose that for that reason.
You talked about development regarding, like, it seems like that's kind of the main conversation that his career at Ohio State. I mean, is that something that, because it seems from the outside there's a lot of pressure on him having been like a number one receiver in the class. Does that kind of sneak into his mentality at all, or what is that like to? I mean,
You have to ask him. I don't know.
I
think I'm not gonna speak for Julian. I'll say, like, at the end of the day, he's really happy. He's really doing a great job, and we'll just keep staying on the path we're on.
Did you expect this development process for Julian?
I don't ever put expectations on things. It's like you guys do that. You guys tell people how it's supposed to go, what the path is supposed to be, but like. Terry McLaurin didn't have that issue. Jackson's gonna have a different path. Chris Olave's his path. Everyone's got a common goal. Everyone's got different paths. So, those guys, everyone understands that, and we're just staying on our path. And when we look up, we're gonna be really happy at the end of the day. So,
one more weird question. Well, kind of. Were you best friends with your quarterbacks when you played here?
no.
Not at all.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
I wasn't best friends with Troy Smith or Terrell Pryor or Todd Becker. Me and Todd were decent buddies, but like we weren't best friends.
Ryan, going back to those guardrails you were talking about, is there anything from the last year that you've seen regarding NIL specific that you think, all right, this needs to be guardrailed or legislated or
One more time?
So you talked about those guardrails with NIL, and you need some guardrails to have a healthy foundation in place. Is there anything specific from the last year?
I know, I'm not smart enough to know. I just know that, there's probably ways to, I guess at the end of the day, it's not that, I'm trying to think how to say this, like, I think there was a time at which we don't know what's legal and what's not, and I think there's a lot of gray out there. So all I'm saying is, like, whatever they are, I feel like they need to be guardrailed, so at least we know what's right and wrong. Like, where's right and wrong? I don't think everyone really knows. That's my take. But maybe I'm just misinformed. Maybe I just don't know. Maybe I just don't have my research. But if anyone tells me that guys aren't in the portal, but they're getting offered money to go to a school, like, is that? I don't understand. Is that legal? But we're openly talking about it, but there's no ramifications. So I'm just saying, I'm just confused on all of it. So all I'm saying is there just should be guardrails. And I think NIL was created to have Outback Steakhouse and Bose headphones and people like that to reach out and let you market with young athletes, not for collectives to go out there and like buy players. I think that's what NIL was created for. I don't know that for a fact, but the generalities in life would make me think like, why can't Homage put a t-shirt with Jackson and CJ on it, right? That's what it was created for. And then I think as adults, we found ways to corrupt that. So, but I love it. I love guys being able to maximize everything, whether it be their development or their earning potential. It's awesome. I just don't know what's legal and what's not. And we're caught in a world where I think we're getting judged on the success rate, but we don't really fully know how to fully succeed legally, I think.
Because the rules change every day.
I don't know what they are, I guess. I'm just trying to I think there's a lot of gray. I don't have a lot of clarity.
Well, I think a lot of other states are talking about high school kids being able to do NIL deals.
Sure.
Is that anything that's been discussed around here? How is this going to affect our
No, I don't think so. I mean, if a kid wants to pay a high school kid to sign a hat, I think he should be allowed to. I don't see why he wouldn't.
Brian, in the past, we've seen you do deep rotations with Terry and those guys. Last couple of years, it hasn't been as deep. Does this group seem like you may go back to a bit more of a rotation with what you've got?
Yeah, it definitely has a higher probability of that. Last year, we were kind of in a position to have a good four going, and then the fourth guy kind of had some injuries and stuff, so it just kind of didn't materialize, which whatever. But we're definitely, I think, closer to that for sure this year. Definitely a four. Working on 5, working on 6, like to see how many guys. Again, it's not going to be given to anybody, but like when they earn it, we earn it. So
but there's definitely a much higher probability of that being the case.
Emeka seemed, and I know you coach guys to play all those positions, but he seemed like a slot guy. We saw him in the spring game playing a lot more outside.
Yeah, Emeka can play anywhere.
So his versatility, does that help?
Oh yeah.
That you don't have to pigeonhole.
We spent a lot of time, with our top 4, 5, 6 guys, of moving them and putting them in different spots all spring. So, having Marvin in the slot, having Julian in the slot, having Jackson outside, and Emeka everywhere. I mean, all of that. So, these guys are very well versed on, regardless of position in the offense.
One off the wall question, because